Guys, I told you Traore is making headlines for all the right reasons. Look at that majestic walk. The guy is in Moscow. You know what? I feel like even for him to actually attend to support Putin in that kind of a way, I think it's kind of a bold move because most African leaders, obviously, as you know, are puppets. And for him to support somebody that he so much know the West stand against him, I can tell you right now the divided states, the divided kingdom, France, I think they are all horrified because they cannot understand what's going on with this leader who seems to be so different. Look at our boy. You know, I feel like he's my child, honestly speaking. Like I'm his mom, because obviously he's young and all that. So yeah, guys, enjoy.
Today, we gather not just to celebrate a moment in history, but to shine a powerful spotlight on two remarkable leaders. Captain Ibrahim Traore, the fearless president of Burkina Faso, and President Vladimir Putin of the Russian Federation. These two men, one representing the rising spirit of Africa, and the other standing tall for a resurgent Eurasia, are walking side by side into a new world order that challenges domination, uplifts sovereignty, and restores dignity. We are talking about the majestic, powerful, and deeply symbolic 80th anniversary of the Great Victory, Russia's Victory Day, marking the defeat of Nazi Germany in 1945. And guess what? Captain Ibrahim Traore was there. He wasn't just a guest. He was a distinguished guest, a brother, an honored ally. So today, in this episode, we pay homage, we celebrate, and we take pride. Burkina Faso is rising, Africa is rising, and it is walking shoulder to shoulder with Russia. Victory Day, May 9th, a sacred day in Russia. A day that echoes with the memory of millions who gave their lives to defeat the darkest force of the 20th century, Nazism. The Great Patriotic War, as Russians call it, wasn't just about soldiers. It was about civilians, workers, mothers, children, and entire communities who stood up, resisted, and emerged victorious. For 80 years, Russia has remembered this day with passion. In 2025, the 80th anniversary wasn't just a celebration. It was a global message. It was a reminder that true sovereignty must be defended, that unity must be cherished, and that history must never be forgotten. It was in this spirit that President Putin extended invitations to trusted partners across the world, leaders who understand the meaning of dignity, struggle, and national pride. Among these leaders stood Captain Ibrahim Traore. His presence was a symbol, a signal, a loud, proud voice of African independence. When the plane carrying the president of Burkina Faso landed on the tarmac in Moscow, it carried with it not just a head of state, but the heartbeat of a revolution in Africa. Captain Ibrahim Traore arrived as a representative of the Confederation of Sahel States. He arrived as a Pan-Africanist, as a patriot, as a brother in struggle. He was welcomed with honor, with respect, and with strategic recognition, because Russia knows what Africa is becoming, because Putin sees the potential, because Moscow recognizes the courage of African nations like Burkina Faso that have dared to say no more to neo-colonialism, foreign interference, and economic dependency. Captain Traore's arrival was followed by powerful moments of engagement. He was no ordinary observer. He participated in high-level bilateral meetings. He discussed strategic matters. He took part in the shared vision of a multipolar world. And yes, he also stood proudly beside President Putin during the commemorations. A moment of honor, a moment of alliance, a moment of history. Behind the cameras, away from the cheering crowds and majestic parades, something even more important was happening: diplomacy, quiet diplomacy, strategic conversations, Ideas exchanged between two leaders determined to build something greater than themselves. Captain Ibrahim Traore and President Putin held a private tête-à-tête. They discussed bilateral relations between Russia and Burkina Faso, military cooperation, education, infrastructure, energy, technology. But also, they looked beyond their borders. They discussed the Sahel, the Confederation of Sahel States, the BRICS alliance, the vision of a new Africa that does not bow down but stands firm. This wasn't about aid. It was about respect. It was about investment. It was about sovereign nations working together, without interference from those who have exploited Africa for centuries. In a world fractured by war, greed, and manipulation, it was inspiring to see the unity that Victory Day brought. Leaders from Venezuela, China, Brazil, Cuba, Mongolia, and now Burkina Faso, all united in Moscow, all standing beside President Putin, all rejecting the imposed narrative of the West. They stood not just for Russia, but for sovereignty, for truth, for dignity. And among them, Captain Traore stood tall, the only West African leader at that level of honor. He represented all of us who are tired of being told how to live, who to trade with, and what kind of future we should have. The world is changing, and thanks to leaders like Traore and Putin, we are seeing a world where power is no longer centralized in the hands of a few imperialists. We are seeing a world where Burkina Faso can trade with Russia directly, where Sahelian youth can study in Moscow, where African infrastructure can be built with Russian technology, and where both nations win. Victory Day is not just about war. It is about memory, culture, identity. Russia celebrates it with music, parades, national pride, and even exquisite banquets and concerts. This year, President Putin hosted a grand reception. World leaders tasted Russia's finest dishes, saw its cultural heritage, and were reminded that every nation has a soul. Captain Traore, representing the proud traditions of Burkina Faso, was immersed in this rich environment. He did not attend as a beggar. He attended as a brother, as an equal, as someone bringing his own history, his own culture, his own story. It is this mutual respect that we at Intervlog celebrate. When two civilizations meet in respect, peace and prosperity follow. And that's what we saw. Compare this to the fading world order, where African leaders were summoned like children, told what to do, and punished when they disobeyed. That world is dying. The world where Africa was a pawn. That world is over.
Okay, family, I hope you enjoyed the video about our brave warrior. You know, I'm from Namibia, and Namibia is actually called the Brave Warrior. Like our team, our national team is called the Brave Warrior. And Namibia itself is actually called the land of the brave. So yeah, so please subscribe, comment, and please come and share this video. Remember, originally our channel is obviously Black Consciousness Movement channel, just bringing awareness about being proud in our own skin, feeling comfortable in our own skin, I guess, and being proud of our hair and all those things. I always mention it. So yeah, take care, guys. Bye.
Isizwe saba,